hey, my name's Eric Pope. I'm the community director here at Behavior. I've been here a little over a year now, and in that time, I've been really blown away by the passion of the DBD player community. It's really something special.
Word. They're awesome.
They are, and we take it really seriously. We don't take it for granted. And did you know, Matt, that over the 7 years, there's been over 1.8 billion trials?
What?
Yes, billion with a B.
That's a lot of
and
games.
to that note, DBD is not slowing down at all.
But first, Forge and Fog has allowed us to tap into a new theme which we've never really had a chance to before. Medieval, which is something we hadn't explored.
I'm just saying
that first foray into that and how that ties into the horror teams and all was very interesting to navigate. And the second one, for the first time, we have released a first ever sequel to a licensed chapter in Resident Evil Project W.
Was
such a great
that
cool
was a
addition
W,
to the game, I
actually.
think,
That was
bringing in a lot of characters
probably
people
one of the
love,
best
and they have been really fun to play with ourselves.
Absolutely. Wesker was so well done, one of my favorite killers to play, personally. And it was right around the time that he released that we also did the Prestige update. But in a strange twist, what you will notice on the graphic today is that there are also 2 survivor-only chapters being released in this next year.
A lot to unpack, changing the pace a little bit, but it's not straying too far away from what we've been used to over the past. As is tradition, we will be actually taking a peek at the next upcoming chapter, an original one, any segment that follows very shortly after this one. The next 2 killers that will follow after that are going to be licensed, and I would say licensed with a big L, if I can. Really iconic additions to the game. Extremely excited to be able to talk a little bit more about that. Unfortunately, a little too early today to be able to do that. We've started to play with them a little bit internally and seeing how the characters are going to shape up, and it's pretty exciting to actually have those additions to the game.
We want to make sure that we're able to communicate with you, our players, more often, offer a higher level of transparency, discuss sort of updates and the progress on a lot of the features and initiatives we're going to be announcing and talking about throughout this stream today. We plan on doing that by doing live streams more consistently to celebrate, new chapter releases, large key beats, and generally just being in contact with you, our community, consistently throughout the year. One of those topics, and we look forward to many more. Next up is our friend Dave Richard to give you a first look at our next upcoming Dead by Daylight chapter. Enjoy.
New trailer, boys. We totally haven't seen this.
It wasn't programmed to harm the crew.
We are going to explore sci-fi horror.
That's kind of cool. A little behind the scenes building, basically.
For the anniversary, we've prepared a very special
Okay, that was
original
super
chapter.
Dead Space right
On a
there.
de la chance sur Dead by Daylight d'avoir un lore qui permet beaucoup de flexibilité et de possibilités.
This is a big deal for the Dead by Daylight universe because we're going to explore a new genre in horror. We're going sci-fi.
Sci-fi? Dead Space? Alien? The Thing? Hello?
I think that any kind of subject and genre can be rewrapped and reimagined as horror. And sci-fi is definitely not an exception. There are 3 big themes that we wanted to explore in that new realm. First of all, it's clearly an alien world. We wanted you to feel like you are far from home, that you are lost in space.
Well, the inspiration of the killer design was, we always wanted to do a sci-fi killer, so you're going to be able to go around the map and set up these biopods, spread your consciousness inside of these biopods, and then if you're able to catch a survivor inside of your reticle, you'll be able to infect them, appear next to them, and then you'll be able to attack them and keep the chase going. One of the important things for survivors is teamwork, trusting each other,
like
working
Hack
together.
2.0.
So with this killer, one of its abilities in the slipstream is that once a survivor is tagged or infected, you can spread that influence to other survivors, and it does so automatically, so survivors will be less likely to work together, and there'll be more discord between them.
Hi everyone, I'm Natalie, Team Lead Community Manager for Dead by Daylight, and I'm joined here today with a very special guest.
Hi everyone, my name is Jeff and I'm a game designer on Dead by Daylight.
Thank you so much for joining me, Jeff. I can't wait to talk a little bit more about a topic that is always top of mind for our community, gameplay. So we have some quick updates for you today. Jeff, let us know what they are.
Well,
As you know, the game design team has many features and updates planned for this year.
This is
However,
what's got
we'll be focusing
everybody
on 3
questioning.
specific topics today. We're going to be talking about continued gameplay updates, map balance, and finally, plans to address face camping in Dead by Daylight.
Okay.
I'm excited to dive into these quick updates, so without further ado, let's jump right in.
But moving forward, or for this year, we're not planning to have a major shakeup like we did last year. Instead, we've revisited our live design process to allow us to make changes at a faster rate. Instead, we'll be focusing on smaller, more focused balance updates with each update this year.
That makes a lot of sense, and of course, it's one of the reasons why we listen so closely to player feedback as a whole. But it does sound like we're going to be able to integrate some of that feedback that we're bringing back to your team, and we're discussing when it comes to these kinds of updates a little bit faster than before. Am I right? But of course, we know that this doesn't only apply to things like perks and add-ons. We also are aware of some of the comments you folks are leaving about maps. So we are very happy to announce that moving forward, we plan on having map balancing as part of these regular gameplay updates as well. What more do you have to say on that, Jeff?
First, I mean, I can already hear the players rejoicing from really far away because this has been a hot topic for a very long time in Dead by Daylight. And I think you'll agree, and the players probably agree too, that most maps in Dead by Daylight are seen as either killer-sided or survivor-sided. And our goal with integrating into the live design process is really to make them feel more balanced, so creating a more even playing field for both sides. We started this process with the Raccoon City Police Department, then we followed suit with the Area of Crows map, and finally the most recent ones were Blood Lodge and Gas Heaven. And what's great about these changes is that they can be as small as moving a small location for totems or generators to reviewing pallet safety so we can make a pallet more safe or less safe, to bigger things like changing the map layout or changing building layouts.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I know our team's already coming through a lot of the feedback. Your team's already looking at how we can integrate some of that feedback. But looking toward the future a little bit more, what kind of maps are we going to be targeting next? I think I know what it might be.
We need a drum roll over here.
I know.
We really do. Because this one is a big one, and I'm sure that the longtime players will be ecstatic to hear that the next 2 maps that we're targeting are some of the most notorious maps in Dead by Daylight. I'm talking about 2 Coldwind Farm maps, Fractured Cowshed and Rancid Abattoir.
And that is something to do with face camping. So if you're new to Dead by Daylight, if you've never heard this term before, face camping is basically a term used to describe a killer that's standing directly in front of a hooked survivor. They're not moving, they're waiting for that hooked survivor to die on hook, and this is usually happening either for a large portion of the match, if not the entirety of the match. We know that face camping can be very unfun for the person on the hook, but of course also the other people in the match. So we're looking to test out a new feature that's going to help combat face camping as a whole. So Jeff, tell us how it works.
Well, the first thing I want to say is that as an altruistic survivor, it's really difficult for me to play against someone who's face camping because I just want to help and I can't. So I'm stuck, doing generators instead, which is fine, but I'd rather help my teammates. But yes, so the way the system works is that the hooked survivor has a meter on their screen, and it fills up based on the killer's distance to the hooked survivor. So the closer the killer is, the faster it fills up. The further they are, the slower it fills up until it doesn't fill up at all because they're not within a certain radius. And once it's full, the hooked survivor can unhook themselves even in the second stage. And what's great about this is that they get the full benefits of being unhooked. So it's as though a teammate had unhooked them, or they unhook themselves with perks such as Deliverance. So for those of you who don't know, that means they'll get the haste status effect and the endurance status effect. So they're pretty safe at that stage.
That is so awesome to hear. I know folks at home are probably already thinking about a bunch of things on this topic, so I'm going to start by bringing probably one of the questions we're going to get, and that's what happens if the killer is forced to stay by the hook? So there's like multiple survivors swarming the hook, they're forced to stay in that radius. Is there any situation in which this feature might slow down or turn off or be otherwise affected?
That's a great question, and yes, there are some scenarios where it either slows down or turns off. So for the first one that you mentioned, where survivors are swarming the hook, as soon as there is one other survivor within that same radius, the meter will build up a lot more slowly. So the killer doesn't have to worry about survivors swarming the hook and being penalized for it. As for the second option that we talked about, which was turning it off, once the exit gates are powered, the feature is completely turned off. So you can defend your only objective, again, without having to worry about the survivor unhooking themselves.
That makes a lot of sense. Of course, we're going to be so eager to hear what you folks are going to say on this matter. And for the most part, it really does sound like this feature is targeting those most egregious cases of face camping, where it's really used kind of in a spot that's way too early in the game or in a spot that's really not going to make sure that the match is as fun as
they already
possible.
have
So
borrowed
with that
time
said,
base
though,
kit
when can folks expect to get
basically
their hands on
Guardian,
this feature? When
and
can
now
they
we're
let us
giving
know
them
what their thoughts are?
The burning question everyone wants to know.
Pseudo,
So our plan, which is subject to change, of course, is to have it sometime later this year on a PTB. And as with all PTBs, we'll be listening to feedback and making further adjustments before it goes live. And even once it goes live, we'll still be listening and gathering feedback to make further adjustments, just to make sure that, you know, it's as good as it can be.
But last year, we did introduce the feature called loadout presets, which means that you were able to manage this process a little bit easier. But right now, we're so happy to say that we are building on this feature even more, because we are adding finally the loadout search bar to help you find quickly whatever you're looking for. So on the loadout search, you're just gonna need to type in either the name of the thing you're looking for or just a word within the description, and it will find for you instantly.
So let's say I'm looking for the perks affecting generators. I just type in generator, and voila, all the related perks will be displayed.
Exactly.
Oh, I can see how it's going to be a huge help for our players. Yeah, we got a lot of requests on this feature. All DBD players know that sometimes when a survivor disconnects, well, it put the rest of the group at huge disadvantage. And it's safe to say that at this point, it's not going to be an ideal experience. So that's why with our upcoming feature, once a survivor will disconnect, an AI bot will take over so that the game can continue, and who knows, maybe this bot will be even better than the player who just disconnected. So, joking aside, we really hope this will alleviate frustration and help matches to run more smoothly.
Hey look, Ma, DVD mobile. This is cool though. Getting some live spot. Mobile charms. Discuss a dogo. Next chapter. The baby. That's nice. Hopefully they got the game bringing bug to settle with. Next set of this on Snap. I just brutalized him again.
We're incredibly excited to have her joining us today to share a little bit about her designs. Welcome, Ikumi Nakamura.
Hi.
Hello.
And now DBD gets away.
Hi, I'm Ikumi Nakamura. Z by Daylight のコミュニティの皆さん、こんにちは。よろしくお願いします。
So how have we improved things for this year?
Well, the invitations that came out last year, Sarah, they'll be back.
There's nothing more powerful than imagination.
It's still so cool we got Nicolas Cage.
It can shape the fabric of reality, transforming everything you may think you know.
Yep.